Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Holt from Exodus and formerly from Slayer, and you're listening to The Razor's Edge.
Welcome back to The Razor's Edge. I am joined today by the amazing Phil Demmel as part of the new supergroup Category 7, whose debut album is dropping on July 26th. It's an absolute pleasure, dude. How are you doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well, thank you.
I don't know if there's enough room for both of us on the razor's edge, though.
I'm sure they can find some space.
Yes.
So, again, thank you so much for joining us. I've got to say, I've done a few interviews for The Razor's Edge already, but this is one of the trickiest times I've had narrowing down where to start. The
Oh
list of
shit.
the list of bands that you've either been in or played with is truly remarkable. You've got there's Machine Head, obviously. There's also Vio-Lence, BPMD. You're on the new Kerry King album, and of course, we've got the upcoming release with Category 7. So I guess my first question is simple. Do you ever stop to take a break? Remember to breathe?
Oh, I just wrapped up a tour with Kerry in Europe, and the last week got canceled or postponed or something like that. So I was gonna be gone for the 4th of July. And you in the UK?
Yes.
So July 4th over here. 4th of July over here is a big deal. And my cover band, the Merkins, which is made up of my high school buddies and all just friends and family, and we all, some celebrity friends come in and we just jam silly covers at the bar that we own. And so it's like, oh, great. I took off a week from tour. Let's just do a Merkins gig at the bar on the 4th of July like we usually do. So it's a pretty big undertaking. But no, man, I don't take a break. I don't take a break. If there's a spare day or two. I like to seize the carpe. I like to, get it in while I can. I'm 57 and, don't know how much more time we have walking on this earth. So I'd rather have memories of that instead of sitting around and just streaming shows.
Absolutely, definitely agree with that. Given all the projects you've been in, you seem like a guy who loves to collaborate with other musicians. Is that a fair assessment?
That is more than fair. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Do you remember your first band?
I do remember my first band. It's made up of the guys that I jammed with yesterday. So my high school band are the guys that make up my cover band now. So back in 1983, I was jamming with Danny Cunningham and Donnie Spear and Dave Foster. We were called On Parole after the Motorhead song. And we recruited a singer um, who his name is Steve Souza, who now sings in Exodus. So back in 83, he and then if you know anything about Zet, then you know how passionate he is. So the name sucks. On Parole sucks. We're called Metal Warrior now. And we were 15, 16-year-old kids, and these guys were, 3 years older buying beer. And we're like, okay, yeah, they know what they're doing. So yeah, that was my first band, On
Uh,
Parole. And
oh,
we played a couple of covers at our first club gig. We played Stand Up and Shout by Dio and Die With Your Boots On by Maiden.
amazing. That's great that you still in contact and play with those guys. I didn't even know where the guitarist of my school band is. So,
Oh man. What's
yeah.
funny is Zet's kids played with us yesterday in
Oh,
the
no
cover
way.
band. They're in a band called Patriot, but they played Nirvana song Breed. So it was pretty cool to have, kids of ours now jamming with us in the band.
Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely amazing.
My
Cool.
son played with it.
Yeah, brilliant.
Sorry, I'm all over the place.
No, no worries, no worries. It's great. Cool. So specifically category 7, how did you guys come to be? Because it's a hell of a lineup of musicians you've got there.
Yeah, yeah. It's I was out with Overkill doing a one-off, and Jason Bittner was playing drums for Overkill, and we did the one-off show was right after quarantine had lifted. Everybody's testing to get in. You gotta have, to get into. You have to test before you get into the gig, and everybody's masked up and the whole deal. And um, so we went. to a bar called Dingbats, and I think it's in Jersey. And Corey, from God forbid, Corey Pierce, was working there. So we met up there. Mike Orlando was a friend of ours. He said, "Yeah, I'll come down and party with you guys." And so we're post gig getting drunk, and we're all like, "Ah, we got a band right here. We should do something." And ended up a couple of days later, or whatever, like, "Hey, did we mean it? Is that what we want to do?" Um, and yeah, let's give this a shot. See if we can, come up with some tunes. I've wanted to jam with Mike for a long time. Me and Jason have been talking about collaborating on something, and so we just started throwing songs together, and um, had a list of the singers that we wanted. Everybody wanted John Bush was at the top of the list, and I reached out to him, and he said he'd be open to listening to what we got. So.
Nice. Those original jam sessions, did you have an idea of what this was going to sound like, or did it form really organically?
No, me and Mike had a song that we kind of threw some riffs together, and it was before John was on board, and it was a little bit different. It was something that John didn't connect with. So after John was on board with writing with us, then that's when Mike especially would write songs specific for big open choruses, and let John do his thing over.
Okay, amazing. And I'm sure some people have been wondering. So, of course, early this year you parted ways with Vio-Lence. Was the ramping up of this new project a big reason as to why you decided to step away from Vio-Lence?
There was a lot of reasons going on with that, and it just was my time to move on um, from that. The Kerry thing was happening, the Category 7 thing was happening, and my time just ended with that band. Uh, hmm. um, Carrying on the name is something Sean wants to do, and a lot of new fans are getting turned on to the band. They're playing all over the world and doing some awesome stuff. So that venture begins.
Yeah, amazing. I'd imagine that working on so much stuff as you do, you probably have to get good at knowing when it's time to let things come to an end and move on to new things. If that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, there is, and he's got awesome dudes playing with him. This guy Mario is playing guitar, and he's ripping guitar player. He's playing the tunes that the way they should be. Christian's was I brought Christian in pretty much unilateral decision. Was just like, hey, Dean can't make these shows. Christian's gonna play with us. He's such a huge Vio-Lence fan. So Nick Souza, like I said, Zet's kid Nick is playing drums for them. He's Dublin. The band was born in Dublin, California. Nick is a Dublin kid, so the got some great dudes playing in the band. So
Yeah,
wish
amazing.
them.
Amazing. Cool. So, obviously, because of all the stuff that you've done over the years, you have a wealth of experience and skills as a musician, as do all of you guys in Category 7. You've all been in some amazing stuff. So, can fans expect a melting pot of all your influences in this new music, or did you want to create something a bit new?
I think that our influences are going to come through no matter what it's in our DNA. It's what we're going to bring anyways. And I think that's the melting pot. I think that we are bringing um, our own thing to everything. Jason is writing, blast beats over some stuff, and where it's like, oh wow, I didn't even think about putting that there, and Mike's bringing crazy, I told him you're gonna have to dumb it down for me a little bit, bro. You're gonna have to downshift a little bit for me to catch up. I'm like hanging onto the bumper. Hold on, Mike, wait. You know. So I think that the songs are really, really great songs, but I think that the calling card of this record is really John Bush and his just his vocal stylings and his phrasing and his hooks and everything. I think that is what uh, sets us, takes us to the next level in the songs. So I think that what me and Mike do is really cool, and I'm really proud of what we have done together, writing songs and melodies and and back and forth guitar duels and harmonies and shit. And I think that that's awesome. But I just think that John Bush is not just the sprinkles, but he's the whipped cream and the sprinkles and the nuts and the cherry.
Brilliant analogy. Hope that's on the back of the case. That's amazing. Cool. So a couple tracks are out already for people to get their appetite wet with. The awesome In Stitches and Exhausted, of course. You've written some amazing guitar work over the years, but are there any riffs on songs on this album that you're really proud of and really excited for people to get to listen to?
I really like the back and forth and Exhausted. No, not in Exhausted. In yeah, is it Exhausted? One, two, there's three of them out. Mousetraps 3. Yeah, so it's Exhausted. It's the back and forth and Exhausted. The he goes, I go, we harmonize. That was one of a proud moment on that. I really like the chorus I wrote in Mousetrap too. Um, kind of it has a lot of my writing elements in it, so it felt good to get that chorus in there and having John sing over it. So um, the the ridiculous instrumental.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say.
But it's just when I was sitting here recording, I'm looking at my spots that are coming up, and it's like, oh my God, there's so much soloing in this fucking. What am I gonna do different than I haven't done? So um, pretty fun.
Yeah, I bet. I adore Land I Used to Love. That song is so good
Oh
all the
no,
way through.
thank you, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just an album full of guitar goodness, really. This is definitely if any guitarist watching, you don't want to miss this album. It's really, really fucking solid. Um, so
Oh no.
um, I read in the press pack you mentioned that this is a band, not a side project. How quickly into jamming with these guys did you realize we've got something really special here?
I think sitting down with Mike and initially, so I did the one-off with Overkill, but then I came back with Overkill and hung out with Mike, and he brought his guitars over and we recorded some riffs going back and forth, and just in the initial sitting down, oh, what's that? It's like, fuck, I don't know what it is. So and we got a good chunk of riffs just sitting down together, and coming out of that, I knew that this is somebody I can write with. This is somebody that, has a sense of what I'm doing and has this other world of knowledge and experience that he can impress upon me that I can learn from as well. And so he was stoked on what I was doing. And so after that first sit down and jam with which I guess it would be in March, because that tour was in March, late February, March of 22. So yeah, that's when I think we probably started on that.
Yeah, brilliant. And given how, no doubt, incredibly busy all of you guys are with everything that you do, are there plans, possibilities to take Category 7 out on the road?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is something like you said, this feels like a band to me. It just needs a band with a hole. It needs a window with what's happening on. I've been committed to Kerry since 2019, and it's taken a while to get going, but unfortunately it's kind of landed to where this thing is now. So it's I need to honor commitments, and so finding that window is what's gonna be tricky. And you know there might be a time when and Jack's super busy too, and I think that there might be a time where somebody else might need to come in and play some dates in our stead, and that's just the nature of the world these days.
Yeah, cool. Whenever and whatever form it takes, can't wait to see you guys out on the road.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah.
it'll be amazing. Um,
Yeah.
so, so when I was,
John, Mike, Jason, those are the elements.
yeah, absolutely. So when I was told I was going to get to interview one of you guys from Category 7, I would have been ecstatic talking to any of you. But however, as a guitarist, I'm thrilled to be talking to yourself.
Oh,
I've
right
got
on.
a few guitar-specific questions for you. I've
Yeah.
seen in a couple video interviews with yourself, you clearly really like your Randy Rhoads custom Jackson. I've seen it in more than a few of them. Is it fair to say he's one of your biggest influences?
He is. Randy was, and I don't think it was his playing. Yeah, it was playing, of course, it was playing, but I think that seeing him my first show, weird. That was to the day. It was 4th of July, 1981. So it was yesterday. So however, 40, is that 43 years? 43 years ago,
Goodness.
yesterday was my first concert. I couldn't go to concerts until I was in high school. So the summer after my eighth grade, I was able to go. And so Ozzy played on the Blizzard of Oz tour, a festival type show here in the Bay Area called the Day on the Green. And they went on early. They were the second of six bands, I think. And so I got there early to see him because we had heard the Crazy Train thing, on the radio, and pre-internet, obviously. So you don't know anything about, you hear this guitar tone, it's like, what is that tone? And hearing the record and hearing Randall Rhodes, what is this dude all about? It's fucking great. And so getting there early and then watching this little guy, this little blonde dude, just own the stage. And I get goosebumps thinking about it right now. Just watching him, just you feeling every note that he's playing. So that's what I picked up on, was his conviction and his passion and his believing in what he was playing. And that sold me on, that putting the visual with the sound I was hearing. That's why it's Randy. But I'm into guys like Mike Shanker. Adrian Vandenberg has always been one of my favorite, dudes from just a phrasing standpoint. Akira Takasaki from Loudness, that Thunder in the East record is one of my favorite guitar records. But then Michael Wilton and Chris DeGarmo on Operation Mindcrime, and that era of them playing together. And that's where I like to get a lot of my melody and my harmonies together. They're not just blazing, they're telling a story, and there's a lot there. So a lot of my dudes.
Yeah, amazing. Important question. How many guitars do you own?
um I think I'm close to 90. I think I'm in the high 80s. It gets a little fluid because I donate some, and I don't sell my guitars. I don't, a lot of them were gifted or by endorsements and stuff. And I don't know. My feeling is that, that seems like bad juju to me. And I'm kind of just a gear hoarder.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
no worries. So I watched one of your rig rundowns. I loved how simple your setup is, really. You've got your quad cortex with your patches built in, and that's the bulk of what you need, really. I've spoken to a few guitarists, and some of them have mentioned that they reckon in 10 or so years, no one will use amps anymore. It's all going to be digital. Is that a sentiment you agree with?
I just think from a travel standpoint that, it makes the most sense. And the response that I get from the quad cortex is just incredible. It's my tone. So it's having all of that in the little lunchbox is just super appealing. I did a Violence tour in South America, and it just sat in my backpack. It just came with me everywhere. A couple cables, put it down, plug it in, have a head there for me. And if not, I'll just run direct and just have it come through the PA. And
Yeah.
it's incredibly simple. And the tones are great. The plugins are great. I haven't fully delved into the modeling and all that yet, but I just love the tones that are there. So I don't think that it's necessary.
Yeah, I recently got a Helix, and yeah, never looked back. It's just
Yeah.
so simple. It's just, I mean, but I do kind of miss like because the whole this album stack is so iconic in heavy metal. It might be a shame if that were to go away entirely, but you know,
I don't think, a lot of bands aren't using the backline. Kerry likes the backline. And what I like about what Kerry does is he just does one row, all in the bottom. I hate having the top cabinets plugged in, ripping my head off, and a weird frequency that I don't like. And um, I think that I prefer having cabinets on stage.
yeah, it just looks the part,
Yeah, but you can feel it too. I want to feel
Oh
that
yeah,
push from behind
yeah,
in
definitely.
auditory manner.
Yeah, great, cool. Right, we're
That's
swift.
a soundbite. Phil wants to feel the push from behind.
That could be the quote we put at the bottom of this interview. Great. So we're swiftly running out of time, but I have been desperate to ask, how did you end up doing guitar on the new Kerry King album?
Um, I was still a Machine Head, and Slayer had come through as part of their final campaign, not quite the final tour yet. And I had asked Kerry, I said, "Hey, what are you doing after this?" Oh, and he was like, "Yeah, me and Holt will probably do. I got Paul on board, or Paul will do it, and probably Gary." And that was his plan. And I said, "All right," I didn't say anything other than that. And then fast forward to me quitting in was it September? Yeah, it was September. I quit Machine Head, and he texted me like immediately. It was like, "Oh, that's why you were asking me what I'm doing." And that's when I threw my hat in the ring. Like, yeah, if whatever you're doing next, keep me in mind. I'd love to be a part of it. Um, then I did the tour in November, December with Machine Head, and the day, not even 24 hours after that, the last show was when I got the call from him to, "Hey, we need to get you out here. Can you be out here in a couple of days to jam with Slayer?" So I learned the songs, and I think that that's what really sold him on me, was learning the songs on a plane. And it wasn't official yet. He was still wasn't sure. It took, he was finishing up the Slayer thing, and um, but that's when he let me know that, yeah, me and Kyle are what he wants.
Amazing. Just final question. I mean, you've done so much amazing stuff over the years, worked with so many incredible musicians, done so much cool shit. Is it possible to pick one moment in your career in particular and think that was the pinnacle? I'm never ever going to forget that.
Man, it's hard because there's been so many different things that I've done with so many other people and bands and whatever. They're all super cool in their own way. But I think my most iconic rock moment kind of ties in a bunch of different, Maiden was my band in the early 80s. And Metallica, of course, are our Bay Area heroes, and they paved the way for everything. And Machine Head was playing Rock in Rio in Lisbon, which is, my mom's 100% Portuguese. So I'm in where my heritage is from. We're opening for Metallica. I had a stress fracture in my leg, and my blade was black because it was just bruised, and from the spray. It did the stupidest thing. Earlier we played with Metallica in Prague, and I jumped off of a 1 foot riser, and I landed weird right on my shin, and it felt bad, and it swelled up. And by the time we got to Lisbon, I went and saw a medic. Oh, yeah, you have stress fracture in your leg. You've been playing on a broken leg this past week. And so I'm bandaged up, and we get there, and we wanted to play. Machine Head covered "Hallowed Be Thy Name," which was one of my favorite Maiden songs. We got approached to do this tribute to Maiden. I wanted to do. I asked the band, "Can we do "Hallowed Be Thy Name?" And so we did the songs, did it really well. And so we wanted to play it that night. And Metallica was there. Oh, we're just chatting them up, and we want to play the song, but they're all, just use our jam room, just go in our jam room and practice it. And they're right outside. And so, of course, we get in there, and we're playing Battery, we're playing Master of Puppets and everything. There's some banging on the walls, and so we practice "Hallowed Be Thy Name." We're going to play it for the first time that night. And we get out, and they're all joking, "Oh, that's the best drums we've heard on, Battery in fucking 20 years," or something like that, just bagging on ours. It was all in good fun. And so we get up, and we go into incredible crowd, man. It was, Lisbon loves Machine Head. And so 50, 60,000 people, whatever it is. We get up, and we start playing "Hallowed Be Thy Name." And, Metallica's there, and it's my favorite Maiden song, and we're in my homeland, whatever it's, but it gets to the part where it's the big Eddie boom, these huge, and I'm up front. hitting those notes, and I get goosebumps right now thinking of it too. And just playing that part, and the crowd's going nuts, and Dave's doing the big drum rolls, and the wind's blowing my hair back. It's like, it can't get any better than this. This is fucking, this is what it's all about. And I'm welling up, so it has to be,
Yeah, that's an incredible story, man.
that is the moment.
Amazing. And I could pick your brain for hours, dude, but we're going to have to call it there. Thank you.
All right, all good.
Thank you so much for joining me, man. This has been a career highlight for me.
Yeah, all right on, man. It's been a great interview. I appreciate all the good things, and look for us here in the UK, correct?
Yeah, yeah, UK.
All right. Maybe we'll see you over there at some point.
Absolutely. I'll just reiterate for everyone watching, remember Category 7 comes out July 26th. Get it in your diaries. It's fucking amazing. Thank you, dude, for joining me.
Right.
Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next one. I've been Chris with The Razor's Edge.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with all of our interviews by subscribing to our channel. For all the latest news, reviews, interviews, and more, head over to our website, www.therazorsedge.rocks.